awesome day, and I'm back at you again with another DIY video. Now this one is going to be similar to one that I just did, but I'm just changing up the technique a little bit, and hopefully this will be easier for you guys. So I really love this centerpiece, so I decided to make some improvements. So what I basically did was, we're going to reconstruct this thing a little bit differently. So what you're going to need is 16 of these tapered Dollar Tree candle holders. And these are the candle holders that I saw so many DIYs with, and I just was like, ugh. But they really are very, very handy, and they're also sturdy. And the E6000 really adheres to this thing really well, and it makes it very sturdy. So, and we're going to need something sturdy. So I decided to use the tapered candle holders. So you're going to need 16 of these. And then you'll also need some acrylic sheets. Now I got this acrylic sheet from Lowe's. Actually, they have a glass cutting department, and if you go back to the glass cutting department in most Lowe's, you will find the acrylic sheets as well as glass and mirrors. And I got the 18 by 24 acrylic sheet, and I had it cut in half. So we have two pieces here. It's actually going to look really clear once I take the plastic off. I guess I should take the plastic off, but this is it. It's very sturdy, and of course they cover it with plastic so it doesn't get scratched up. So let's see here, so you can see it, and it just gives you a nice clear surface. So if you see that, that looks just like glass. So it looks awesome. Alright, and I really need to learn how to use how to work with acrylic and how to do more projects with it, because this could definitely take the place of glass, and it's much more sturdy. So I have two pieces of this, and basically what we're going to do, I'm going to set this to the side, and we're going to start putting our candle holders together. So we're going to put the first column together, and it's going to be, I'm going to be using 4 of these candle holders, and the 4 candle holders will make up 1 column. Okay, that's why we need 16 of those. And of course I'm going to use my E6000. So I'm just going to get it started. And what you want to do is just go ahead and put your columns together, and of course leave them overnight, 2 days even better. And then come back and start building your centerpiece. So I'm going to start putting the E6000 on here. So I'm going to put it on a little stick, and then just kind of make sure that I get it all on the ends. And also, let me stop for 1 second. You want to use some rubbing alcohol to make sure that the top of the candle holders are free of any dirt, so that they adhere really well. And then I'm just taking a rag and just wiping them out, making sure there's no dust in there. Okay, that's what I guess I should have done. And then now I feel better about putting my E6000 on here now. So that's what I'm going to do. When you feel you have a generous amount of glue, go ahead and put your first piece on, and I'll try to line everything up. And just make sure that it's centered properly, because if it's not, I found that these candle holders can look really crooked. Okay, and then I'll just go ahead and get some more on the upside, downside rather, some more E6000 glue so I can put my next piece. And most of you DIY heads may know how to do this stuff, but for people who are coming and viewing the video for the first time and never done DIY projects, it's good to always be thorough, because some people are new to the DIY game, and so, you know, they'll need to see this. But anybody else who isn't, you could just skip right over this part. Okay, so I'm pretty satisfied with the way this is lining up. Now what I'm going to do is take this into another room, and I'm going to sit a book on top of it and let it cure for 24 hours. 48 hours would be ideal. If you can wait 2 days, that would be even better. You just want to make sure that the bond is really good. So go ahead, assemble your 4 exactly like this, and put it away for that time period, and then we're going to come back and we're going to assemble our centerpiece. Okay guys, we are alright, we're back, and it's about 24 hours later. It's the next day, and I made a slight adjustment, and that is to add one more candle holder to this thing, so that you'll actually need 20 candle holders. I'm sorry, you'll need 20, because I needed to add an extra one for more height. I couldn't figure it out until I actually did a test run on it. So yes, so you will need to do 5 tapered Dollar Tree candle holders. But here's our column. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I pretty much just kind of sort of like jerry-rigged the last one on here, because I didn't have time for it to wait for it to bond. So, but we have our 4 columns. Now we're going to go ahead and put this thing together. So we're going to, let me move this to the side. I'm excited already, because I think this is going to be amazing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to use, as a bonding method, you can use epoxy, or again, use E6000 with the Gorilla Hot Glue together. And I found this to be a pretty good bonding process. The epoxy might be just as good, but for the purposes of this video right now, I don't like to waste supplies, and I do like to reuse some items so I don't have to keep buying stuff over and over again. So I'm not going to permanently adhere it as I'm doing this tutorial. I'm just going to use hot glue. I'm going to use hot glue on it. But for permanent bonding purposes, use the E6000 plus the Gorilla Hot Glue, okay? That way your project is permanent. But I'm going to dismantle this, so it's not going to be permanent for me. And again, I don't like to waste supplies. So we're going to take our first acrylic sheet. I'm sorry. Having a senior moment, because I am a senior citizen now, so I do have those senior moments. And we're just going to put this flat on a flat surface, and what you're going to do is basically just kind of lay out how you want the columns to be. I'm laying them out so that they're very close to the edge. And let me switch my camera so it's less of me and more of the project. I guess I can't do that because it's a tall project, so I need to leave the camera the way it is. But what I'm basically doing is I'm just basically taking my candle holders and flushing them against each corner. Okay? So I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going ahead and applying my hot glue, but you would have already applied your E6000 first and then apply your hot glue over it. And I'm applying it directly onto the bottom of the candle holder. And then I am flushing my candle, I'm flushing it right where it needs to be in the corner. Okay, and it's bonding right away. And you would do that for all 4 columns. So we've attached all 4 of our columns with E6000 and Gorilla Hot Glue. And there we have it. And now we're going to put our top on. Now we're going to prep to put our top on. So what we want to do is use our E6000 and then find some type of like little stem, some plastic floral stem of some sort, or maybe use a wooden lollipop stick or something. Put your E6000 literally on the applicator. I'll call this an applicator. And then just go ahead and dab it on top of your candle holders on each one before you lay the top on. So now we're going to go ahead and put the top on. And with this step, once we have that glue on, you really want to take your time and center this thing to make sure that you don't get any glue where there's not supposed to be any glue. So I would pretty much just lay it down towards the back first, get that in position, and then lay it towards the front last. So I would just do that approach to make sure that it's laid on properly. So our acrylic top is on, and what's going to happen is when you line up the top of this, it's going to come in a little bit more than it does on the bottom. It's not going to flush all the way to the corners because the top of the candle holder is tapered. So it's going to come in more than it does on the bottom. So on the bottom, our candle holders are flush. But on the top, they're not flush because on the bottom, we have our corners flushed. But on the top, they are going to come in more. They're going to be further out because our candle holders are smaller up at the top. So they're not going to be flush. They're going to come in a little bit more. So if you can see that, you'll see that it's not flush. It's further away from the corner. And that's basically because it's smaller at the top. Okay, it's smaller at the top, so it's going to come in further. The best way to get the top on is to take it and just lay it down on the top. And just let it fall where it's supposed to fall. Okay, and you'll have your E6000, so you'll be able to move it around a little bit. And if you get any glue, any extra glue anywhere, you can use Goop Be Gone, and Dollar Tree used to carry this and they don't carry it anymore, and I just hate it. But you can use some type of adhesive remover with a Q-tip and just get in the areas that you have excessive glue. But it's good to just use the E6000 on the top and not the don't use the hot glue, because you may have to make a couple of adjustments at the top. And it'll be much easier if you're just using the E6000 and not the hot glue. So here we have it, people. We have our amazing, amazing acrylic stand, and it is gorgeous. And my creative studio here is very messy, so I don't want to pan too much because then you'll see just how jacked up this room really is. Especially when I got a lot of projects going on. It really gets crazy in here. But just to show you what it looks like, this is awesome. And you know how much they charge for this? I went on AliExpress. They charge like anywhere from $300 to $600 for something like this. And this was so easy to make. You're talking $12 for this. And it is just striking. Okay. See that? It's amazing. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start to add my embellishments. Let me move back a little bit. So our next step is to go ahead and add these crystals onto our columned centerpiece. And I'm going to use the same ones that I did with the previous project. And how you would want to attach this, you can actually attach it directly to the acrylic. And how you could attach this permanently is you could attach it directly onto the acrylic sheet with either hot glue, or if you wanted something seriously more permanent so that it wouldn't come off, of course you could use some special tools to actually penetrate the acrylic and then add this on permanently. But you know, since I don't have those type of tools, you could just go ahead and use hot glue, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some hot glue because it'll be easy to remove, or I can also tape it down. So, but I think I'm just going to apply a little bit of hot glue and just affix it directly onto the acrylic sheet. And you will have to hold this for a few minutes. And there you have it. So that's just a quick workaround. But again, you know, if you wanted to do something more permanent, you know, you have time to think about how you could do that. But for right now, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add these crystals using a hot glue gun. So I've added 5 crystals to the front. I'm also going to add 5 crystals to the back and then 3 to the side. And again, I'll just be using the hot glue method to attach them. And so this is what that looks like. So just to quickly show you what we've accomplished so far. And this is the top, looking down towards the bottom with our columns. And then we have our crystals hanging, a few more to hang towards the back. And this just looks awesome, guys. And it's really hard to show this in this particular room, but I'll be doing I'll be taking this outside so you guys can get a good look at it in direct sunlight. But this is what we have so far. And yeah, it's coming together nicely. So really, the only thing we need to do now, because we're done, is to go ahead and attach our floral centerpiece to this, and we're pretty much done. Okay, so now we're going to start adding our florals, and as you can see, I bought a piece of foam, and it fits perfectly on here, and it fits on here like a dream. Like, I don't need to cut it down, anything. It's just perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic off, and then we're going to start putting our flowers on here. So I'm going to start adding some hydrangea. Alright, so it is looking pretty good. And what I'm going to do is, I've already added my hydrangea, so now of course I'm going to add some white roses. And it'll be pretty similar to the one that I did before. So we're just going to put some white roses and some very, how do you say it? Strategic spaces. Now I'm going to go ahead and embellish the sides with some telenosis orchids. And I think I'm going to have those just in the corners. And I just bent it a little bit so I could just stick it in the corners. As you can see, I have applied the telenosis to all 4 corners, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, it is gorgeous. If this doesn't say wedding, I don't know what does, but it looks amazing. Now we're going to add something to the top. I'm not sure what we're going to add to the top. So I'm going to add 1 large rose to the center, and I got this rose from Walmart. So I'm going to add this right here in the center because I really think it needs something huge right there. So we're going to pop that right in there. That looks awesome. Alright, so I'm really happy with the way that this looks. It looks amazing. And I really don't want to add any more flowers. I think that's enough flowers. It looks very good. I don't need to add any more flowers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these mirrors, these frames that I have, and I'm going to take the mirrors out of them and I'm going to put them on top of the arrangement. And I think that that will give it a nice reflective quality and play off of the flowers. So I'm going to take these mirrors out, and these are Dollar Tree mirrors, and I'm going to add them to the top of the arrangement. So what I've done is I've taken these large oversized roses that I got from Walmart, and I added them to this corner right here. I've added them to all 4 corners. I also added it right here on this corner, and then I put 2 in the back. So these are these huge, I don't know when they got these in, but I picked up 2 of these. They kind of went fast. And so you have them in each corner. And then what I did is I added some lights. And I'll come up a little bit closer so I can show you the lights. And I just kind of took them and put them all through the centerpiece. And then as far as the top is concerned, I didn't want to put any flowers on the top. Had I really thought this thing out, I probably would have gotten a piece of custom mirror cut at Lowe's, the same size as the foam. And then you could have put candles up there if you wanted to. But what I did is I just took 2 mirrors and from the Dollar Tree, and I just put them together, and then I just put some sparkling foam paper just to cover up the green of the foam. So this is what that looks like up at the top. But had I been thinking about it, I would have gotten a custom piece of glass cut, mirror cut, and it would have been perfect. But this is just a little workaround just to kind of show you what you could potentially do with this piece. So this is it, guys. I'm completely done. This is absolutely beautiful. I feel like I really outdone myself this time. It is absolutely gorgeous. Didn't take a lot of money to make. I will put the pricing up in the corner, but it was very inexpensive, and it was like luxury for less, like Luxe for less. It's absolutely stunning, and people are driving by and looking at it because it's so beautiful. So I hope you guys are able to duplicate this. I'm sure you will be. And yeah, so it's gorgeous, and I'm using this in my wedding. There's no way I'm not using this. And then there's the top with the mirrors. It just looks like a pool, a fantasy pool. So yes, so this is it, guys. Totally done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, don't forget to rate and subscribe. And if you have not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe, and we can grow this channel together. All right, have an awesome day.